My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of The Bubble. Now, this is a movie that I was looking forward to because it's directed by Judd Apatow, who is one of my favorite comedic directors. I thought it had a funny premise, but then I saw the trailer and I thought it looked absolutely terrible, and then it got terrible reviews, and I was going to skip it, but it's directed by Judd Apatow, who I really do like, so I decided to watch it, unfortunately, and it was a terrible, terrible mistake. And you know what the thing about this movie is that Judd Apatow is a great director. 40-Year-Old Virgin is such a hilarious, heartfelt movie that I love. Same as Knocked Up. I think Funny People is super underrated. This is 40 is actually my favorite movie of his. I think that movie is criminally underrated and doesn't get the love it deserves. I really like King of Staten Island, and I don't like Trainwreck, but if that's your worst movie, you ain't doing a bad job. And the fact that all those movies do deal with similar ideas of people growing up and having to mature, and this movie is just nothing like his other movies. Like, there is nothing in this movie that makes it feel like a Judd Apatow movie. Nothing. Nothing about the characters or what the movie's going for. And a part of me is just like, this can't be Judd Apatow. Like, the fact that this is the first time that the guy has ever worked with Netflix and we get this piece of shit as a result, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think Netflix is where creativity goes to die. And this is definitely a great showcase of it because this movie was just awful. Like, there is nothing to recommend about this movie. The biggest positive I can give this movie is that Pedro Pascal and Peter Serafinowicz give decent performances, but that's as positive as I can go. Peter Serafinowicz, whatever his name is, he actually plays a guy named Gavin, and anytime someone has my name in a movie, I'm just like, that's my name. Kieran Gillian, you can tell that she tries her best here, but she's just given such bad material. And everyone else is absolutely terrible. Everyone. Maria Bakalova, this is her second movie. Her first one was the second Borat movie, which I hated, but she was good in. And it's just a shame that this is her second movie because I feel like she deserves better. Keegan-Michael Key, I just don't think he's a good actor. I don't think he's a good actor without Jordan Peele. I think he works best with him. And this movie has an excessive amount of celebrity cameos. It is ridiculous how many cameos are in this movie, and every single one feels incredibly forced, and it's just super cringy to watch. And it's quite clear that they just sent out a mass email to a bunch of celebrities to see who can zoom in, and they got a few responses back, and that's just who happened to be in this movie. I also don't think the plot was very good, because there is no clear plot. It's not until the last act that you see somewhat of what they were going for, but it's not apparent throughout the rest of the movie. It just seems like a series of events without any cohesive narrative tying them all together, and I just don't like it when movies are about the C word. Not that C word. The other C word. It's just like, I don't want it referenced in movies. And you know what? It also ticks me off too in this movie because it seems like it wants to be a movie that's against the mandates and the restrictions that were in place. That wants to point out the absurdity and how much they made zero sense, but they're just not willing to go all the way with it. So because of that, it just feels like a half-assed attempt. Same with the whole aspect of this movie that feels like it wants to criticize the Hollywood machine and how they just pump out franchise movies. It seems like they want to critique it in some way, but then this movie itself just feels like a product of the Hollywood machine, and it just says nothing clever about it. And that whole movie that they're working on is just so ridiculous and so over the top that it just comes across as cringy instead of actually trying to say anything. Like, if this entire movie was about a film crew that's making a movie within the past 2 years and they think that the mandates and the restrictions are ridiculous, so it turns into like an Ocean's 11 type of breakout, I think that would be a really funny premise, but that's not the direction they went. They just went for a bunch of loosely tied together ideas without any clear cohesive, and it's just a mess. Like, there's not even a real main character of this movie. By the last act, it seems like it's Kieran Gillian, but up until that point, you're just like, who am I supposed to be focusing on here? Like, who's the character to care about? And it doesn't become clear until the last act. that's just bad writing. And there's so many characters in this movie that I actually stopped and thought about, and just no one solves an actual purpose. Because there's no clear narrative, no one has a clear purpose. So you could literally get rid of any actor or everyone, and the movie wouldn't be all that different. And this movie isn't even remotely funny. I did not laugh once while watching it. I didn't even chuckle. This movie is just not funny at all. There are plenty of cringy moments that I really hated. Like, there was one moment where they're making the movie and they break out into dance with this visual effect dinosaur, and it was honestly just I was watching it by myself, and yet I was incredibly embarrassed to be watching it in that moment. It was just so cringy. And there's this one stupid moment. Okay, this is a spoiler, but don't act like you care. Well, Leslie Mann gets her hand shot off, and it's just like, what is this? Like, why? Like, it's just so stupid. And anytime any movie mentions TikTok or they talk about how they might lose followers, I just can't take it seriously. You lose me as soon as you do that. So you take all that, and what do you got? Absolutely nothing. There is zero reason to watch this movie. None. Like, there's no clear vision behind this movie. There's no good story behind this movie. There's no good characters in this movie. There are no good performances in this movie. It is not funny at all. It doesn't say anything about anything. It's way too long. Like, it's over 2 hours long, and it could have been an hour and 20 minutes. It is slow. It is boring. There are zero reasons to ever watch this movie. There is nothing good that can come from watching this movie. I can't believe Judd Apatow's name is attached to this movie, because he's a great director, and the fact that this movie is such a huge drop in quality for his work, it makes me think there's something else going on behind the scenes that maybe he didn't. I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for the guy, but he's better than this movie. Everyone in this movie is better than this movie. So I'm going to go ahead and give The Bubble a 0.5 out of 10. Okay, have you seen The Bubble? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.